श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद रशतरशतश्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद रशतरशतश्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद रशतरशतश्मर भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद रशतरशतश्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद रशतरशतश्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोक्षरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौरी गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुनि देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री योगिनी एकादशी तिथि की जय। तिथि पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री परीक्षित महाराज की जय। श्री सुखदेव गोस्वामी की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। Sārārtha-darśinī वृत्ति की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्-भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं त्वय्पायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये Kripamai tvam sharanam prapana Vrinde namaste charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everybody. Raseshwari Mataji, Moharji, Gargrajji, Ganga Mataji, Savitri Didi. Hare Krishna, everybody. I wonder where Indira Mataji is. And Madhavi Didi. Anyways, I'll check back later. So now we reached the conclusion of Srila Shukadev Goswami's speaking for 7 days to Pariksit Maharaj. Now we come to how Pariksit Maharaj leaves this world. Chapter 6. Should we go through the recap on here? 1 second. Maybe no need. Yeah, I'm just going to start from here. The passing of Pariksit. Shri Sutta Uvacha Etan Nishamya Munina Bhitam Etan Nishamya Munina Bhitam Pariksit Vyasatma Jena Nikilatma Drisha Samena Tatpadamulamupasritya natena murdhna Padhanjalistamidamaha Savishnurata. Sutta Goswami said, after hearing all that was narrated to him by the equipoised Shukadev, who is the son of Vyasadeva and the seer of Krishna, Maharaj Pariksit humbly approached his lotus feet. Bowing his head down upon the sage's feet, the king, who had lived his entire life under the protection of Vishnu, folded his hands in supplication and spoke as follows. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. The 6th chapter describes Maharaj Pariksit attaining Krishna, the 7 sacrifices performed by Janamejaya, and the branches of the 3 Vedas. Nikilatma Drisha means by the seer of Krishna, or by one who sees the minds of all beings. Understanding the mind of the Gyanis present, Shukadev made them happy by presenting teachings on Gyan. Therefore, he was seen as equipoised, Samena. Hari Bol, Kishore Prabhu. I wonder also where Satya Mataji is. I'll check back. Rajovacha Sedosmyanu grihitosmi Bhavata karunatmana Shravito yachchame shakshar Anadi nidhano hari. Maharaj Pariksit said, I have now achieved the purpose of my life, because a great and merciful soul like you has shown such kindness to me, since you have spoken to me this narration of the Supreme Lord, who has no beginning or end, whom I directly saw. Sārārtha-darśinī. I have been successful because the Lord, whom I directly saw in the womb and after birth, that Lord has been heard about from you. I've heard about that Lord from you, and I have heard him speak also. There's a footnote here. After the Kurukshetra war, Krishna was with the Pandavas when Pariksit was born, so he got to hear the Lord speak. Natyarbhutam aham manye mahatam achyutatmanam agyeshu tapatapteshu bhuteshu yad anugraha. I do not find it amazing that great souls such as you, whose minds are always absorbed in the Lord, show mercy to the foolish, conditioned souls suffering in this world. Sārārtha-darśinī. Achyutatmanam means whose minds are absorbed in achyuta. Purana Sanghitam etan ashroshma bhavato vayam yasyam kaluttama shloko Bhagavan anuvarnyate. I have heard from you the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the summary of all the Puranas and which describes the Supreme Lord along with other themes. Sārārtha-darśinī. What did you understand? Shukadeva Goswami says, what did you understand from me by hearing this scripture? And then Pariksit says, the Lord was described along with other subjects that supported the main theme as limbs. Bhagavan stakshakadibhyo mrityubhyo nabibhemyaham pravishto brahmanirvanam abhayam darshitam tvaya. My Lord, I now have no fear of Takshak or any other living being, or even of repeated deaths. But I fear entering the impersonal Brahman that destroys fear, about which you have just taught me. Whoa, what a cool verse! So, Pariksit passed the test. Remember I mentioned, we read yesterday that this is a test to or like also to show how Pariksit, how he understood bhakti to be the supreme. I forgot exactly what it said in the commentary, but yeah, this proves that he passed the test. You who understand my mind have not spoken one. You who understand my mind have not spoken one word to me. If there was something doubtful, I could not tolerate that. Okay, so that's Shukadeva Goswami speaking, I guess. And now this is Pariksit Maharaj. O Lord who knows everything, O Bhagavan, oh maybe that was the Lord speaking. No, it's not. I don't know, I'm confused. Anyways. O Lord who knows everything, Bhagavan, knowing that my heart was fixed in bhakti, that was Shukadeva Goswami. Knowing that my heart was fixed in bhakti, why did you teach me Gyan? I do not fear Takshak and other deaths and other births, but entering into the impersonal Brahman that destroys fear, about which you have just taught me, that I fear. The last phrase should be understood. This is similar to making a statement such as, I am not afraid of misfortunes while situated in household life, but entering the forest, that I fear. This phrase is understood and not spoken. And therefore, I will not enter the forest. I have much greater fear of the impersonal Brahman that you have explained to me than many deaths by Takshak. This impersonal liberation is intolerable for devotees like me, who renounced everything and given it to the Lord, and whose real desires were revealed by the great devotee Shiva in this statement, Narayana para sarve na kutaschana bibhyati swargapavarganara keshvapi tulyartha-darśinā. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of Narayan never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets are all the same. I have made my vow at the point of death. Oops, 1 second. I have made my vow at the point of death. Punascha bhuyar bhagavatyanante rati prasangash chatarashayeshu mahatsu yam yam upayami shrishtam maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. On the other hand, in whatever birth I receive, may I have rati for the unlimited Lord, excellent association with his devotees who take shelter of him, and friendship with all living beings. I offer respects to the Brahmanas. That was in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 19, verse 16. But now you teach me about Brahman. There's a hint of anger in your... But now you teach me about Brahman. There's a hint of anger in his words. By that, Shukadeva Goswami was testing the firmness of his bhakti, and Shukadeva became happy. Similarly, at the beginning of the Ras dance, the gopis, having disobeyed the orders of their elders, became angry with Krishna and rebuked him by this indirect expression. The commentator on Kavya Prakash gives that meaning. And there's a footnote here. Viśvanātha quotes the phrase, Tom asmi vachmi vidusham samavayotra tishtati atmiyam matim astaya stitam atra videhi tat. This is an example of suggestion means of expression. It, however, is found originally in the Sahitya Darpan 412, as well as Kavya Prakash. It is difficult to say which commentary on Kavya Prakash this is from. The literal meaning of the sentence is, I tell you that there is an assembly of learned people here. Therefore, after gathering your intelligence, stay here. The suggested meaning is, since I am your friend, you must stay here. Okay. I didn't totally get that, but whatever. So the gopis, they became angry with Krishna and rebuked him by this indirect expression. To take another meaning of the present verse, I have entered the Brahman that destroys all fear. This is not accepted by devotees, since Bhagavatam presents two meanings to persons of different qualifications, like Mohini. Okay, so some people interpret they interpret the verse that we just read, verse 5, to mean, I've entered Brahman that destroys all fear. But this is not. Yeah. And there's an example of Mohini given. Just as Mohini gave nectar to the devatas and cheated the demons, Bhagavatam presents the sweetness of Krishna to the devotees and gives jnana and karma to the faithless. Okay, now verse 6. Let me just check the comments. Rup Manjari Didi, Haribo, and Nitai. I don't see all the hearts. I don't understand what that's about. Anujani himam brahman vacham yacham yadhokshaje mukta kama shayam cheta praveshya visrajam yasun. O Brahmana, please give me permission to resign my speech to Adhokshach, absorbing my mind, purified of desires and impressions. Absorbing my mind in the Lord, permits me to give up my life. Sārārtha-darśinī. O Brahmana, give me the order to do this by your mercy, and nothing contrary to it. Give me permission to leave my body, having concentrated my mind and free from desires and impressions. Ajnanam cha nirastame jnana vijnana nishtaya bhavata darshitam kshemam parang bhagavata padam. You have revealed to me the supreme form of the Lord. By being fixed in knowledge of the Lord and in realization of His sweetness and powers, my ignorance has been eradicated. Sārārtha-darśinī. By knowledge about the Lord and realization of His sweetness, by knowledge of the Lord and realization of His sweetness and powers, my ignorance has been destroyed. How did this happen? The supreme form, abode, or lotus feet of the Lord have been shown by you. Sutta uvacha. Is this wind's too intense? Maybe I should move away. Let me know if it's if it's messing up the mic. Sutta uvacha. Ityuktastam anugyapya bhagavan badarayani jagama bhikshubhi sakam naradevena pujita. Sutta Goswami said, Thus requested, the son of Vyasadeva gave his permission to King Pariksit. Then, after being worshipped by the king and all the great sages, Shukadeva departed from that place. Sārārtha-darśinī. Bhikshubhi means by all the great sages. Parikshirapi rajarshir atmanyatmanamaatmana samadhaya param dadyad aspandasuryatataru prakule barhishyasino ganga kula udangmukha brahmabhuto mahayogi nisangaschena samshaya. The saintly King Pariksit then sat down on the bank of the Ganges upon a seat made of darba grass with the tips of its stalks facing east, and he turned himself toward the north. Having attained the perfection of yoga, having freed himself of all material association, having cast off all doubts, merging his life airs within, concentrating intensely, situated in the spiritual realm, he placed Krishna in his mind by his intelligence. Sārārtha-darśinī. By his intelligence, he concentrated acutely on Krishna in his mind, and merged his life airs while sitting on kusha grass, with the tips facing east, and surpassing the three gunas. He surpassed the three gunas. Brahma-bhuta. Brahma here means spiritual substance. Pariksit became situated in the spiritual sky. It is said, Tassa madhye shakshar Brahma gopalala puri. Among the places, the abode of Krishna is directly Brahman. That's from the Gopala Tapani Upanishad. Just checking the comments. Okay, nobody mentioned anything about the wind, so I guess it's okay. Takshaka prahito vipra krudhena dijasununa antu kamo nripam gachan tadarsha patikrashyapam. O learned Brahmanas, when the snake bird Takshak, who had been sent by the angry son of a Brahman, was going toward the king to kill him, he saw Kashyapa Muni on the path. Sārārtha-darśinī. Since Pariksit was situated in the spiritual world, the attack of Takshak was a useless action. This is expressed in 3 verses. Tam tarpayitva dvavinar nivartya vishaharina tvijarupa pratichanna kamarupa dashandripam. Takshak flattered Kashyapa by presenting him with valuable offerings, and thereby stopped the sage, who is expert in counteracting poison, from Maharaj Pariksit. Then the snake bird, who could assume any form he wished, disguised himself as a Brahman and bit the king. Sārārtha-darśinī. Kashyapa had come to gather materials for a remedy to protect Pariksit from the poison. His ability to counteract poisons had been demonstrated earlier by his growing a banyan tree step by step from a sprout when it was turned to ashes by the poison of Takshak. Takshak satisfied him by giving him objects he liked and stopped him from going to Pariksit. Takshak disguised himself as a Brahman and bit Pariksit. Brahma bhutasya rajarsher deho hi garalagnina babhuva bhasmasat sadhya pashyatam sarvadehinam. While living beings all over the universe looked on, the body of the saint among kings, who was situated with the Lord, was immediately burned to ashes by the fire of the snake's poison. Sārārtha-darśinī. The burning of his body was like the last rites performed by his son. Hahakaro mahan asid, bhuvi ke dikshu sarvata, vismita ya bhavan sarve, devasura naradaya. There arose a great lamentation in all directions on the earth and in the heavens, and all the devatas, demons, human beings, and other creatures were dismayed. Even the demons. Wow. Devadundu bhayo nedur, Gandharvapsaraso jago, Vavrishu pushpavarshani, Vibhuda sadhuvadina. Heavenly kettle drums sounded, and the Gandharvas and Apsaras sang. The Devatas showered flowers and spoke words of praise. Janamejaya swapitaram, Shrutva takshaka bhakshitam, Yata juhava sankrudho, Nagan satre sahadvijay. Hearing that his father had been fatally bitten by the snake bird, Maharaj Janamejaya became extremely angry and along with brahmanas offered snakes in sacrifice in order to rid the world of snakes. Sārārtha-darśinī. I will make the entire world devoid of all snakes. Saying this in anger, he, along with brahmanas, performed a sacrifice. Sarpe satre samidhagno, dahyamana mahoragan, Drishtvendram bhayasam vignas, Takshaka sharanam yayo. When Takshak saw even the most powerful serpents being burned in the blazing fire of that snake sacrifice, he was overwhelmed with fear and approached Indra for shelter. Apashyam takshakam tatra Raja Parikshito dvijan Uvacha takshaka kasman Nadahyeto ragadhama. Dahyeto ragadhama. Not seeing Takshak entering his sacrificial fire, Janamejaya said to the Brahmanas, "Why is Takshak, the lowest of all serpents, not burning in this fire?" Tam gopayati rajendra shakra sharanamagatam tena sangstam vita sarpas tasmanagno patatyaso. The Brahmanas replied, "O best of kings, the snake Takshak, being stopped by Indra, has not fallen into the fire, because he is being protected by Indra, whom he has approached for shelter." Parikshita ita shrutva prahartvija udaradhi sahendras takshako vipra nagno kim iti patyate. The intelligent King Janamejaya, hearing these words, replied to the priests, "O Brahmanas, why not make Takshak fall into the fire along with Indra?" Oh my god, he wants to throw Indra in the fire as well. Tatshutva juhuvor vipra sahendram takshakam makhe takshakashu patasveha sahendrena marutvata. Hearing this, the priests then chanted this mantra for offering Takshak together with Indra as an oblation into the sacrificial fire. "O Takshak, fall immediately into this fire, together with Indra and the Devatas." Oh my god, even the Devatas. Sārārtha-darśinī. "O Indra, you are proud, thinking, I am the king of the Devatas. I will make you fall along with the Devatas." Amarakosh says that Marut means wind and Devata. 1 second, I'll come back to the comments in a second. Iti brahmoditakshepai stanar indra prachalita babhuva sambhranta mati savimana satakshaka. When Indra, along with his airplane and Takshak, was suddenly thrown from his position by these insulting words of the Brahmanas, he became very disturbed. Sārārtha-darśinī. His mind became disturbed, thinking, "Today my life has ended." Tam patantam vimanena saha takshakam ambarat vilokyang girasha praha rajanam tam Brihaspati. Brihaspati, the son of Angira, seeing Indra falling from the sky and his airplane along with Takshak, approached King Janamejaya and spoke to him as follows. Sārārtha-darśinī. Angirasa means the son of Angira. Naisha tvaya manushyendra vadam arhati sarparat anena pitam amritam atava ajaramara. O king among men, it is not fitting that this Indra who remains with Takshak should be killed by you, for he has drunk nectar. Consequently, he is not subject to the ordinary symptoms of old age and death. Sārārtha-darśinī. You are king of the humans. You should not kill Indra, the king of the Devatas, who remains with the snake. Having drunk nectar, he is certainly immortal and ageless. Jivitam maranam jantor gati svenaiva karmana rajang statonyo nastyasya pradata sukha dukhayo. The life and death of an embodied soul and his destination in the next life are all caused by himself through his own activity. Therefore, O king, no other agent is responsible for creating one's happiness and distress. Sārārtha-darśinī. Hear the philosophy of what you are doing out of grief for your father. The actions of the living entity cause his destination, such as Swarga. The actions of the living entity cause his destination, such as Swarga, on dying. This is the normal arrangement for the low living entities. But your father's living, dying, and attaining the Supreme Lord's abode were by the Lord's arrangement. This is by the Lord's arrangement. This wasn't just on the actions of his karma. This wasn't by the result of his karma. The Lord protected him by his own hands from the weapon of Ashvatthama, and also arranged for him to die by the curse of the sage. The Lord arranged for your father to attain his spiritual abode by the teachings given by his beloved Shukadev. All these events were arranged by the Lord. Takshak is a cause of this death in name only. Sarpachoragnis vidyudbhya Kshutrid vyadyadibir nripa Pancham richate jantur Bhunkta arabda karma tat. When a low conditioned soul is killed by snakes, thieves, fire, lightning, hunger, disease, or anything else, he is experiencing the reaction to his karma. Sārārtha-darśinī. Persons of this world obtain death under the control of karma through a snake bite, etc., but not your father, who is the king of the devotees. Jantu means a low living entity. Tasmat satramidam rajan samstiyeta bhicharikam sarpa anagaso dagdha janardishtam hi bhujyate. Therefore, O king, please stop this sacrificial performance, which was initiated with the intent of doing harm to others. Many innocent snakes have already been burned to death, but all creatures must suffer their fate. Sārārtha-darśinī. The sacrifice should be stopped because it is black magic, which is condemned and useless. The killing of snakes done already is not a sin for you, since all creatures suffer their fate. Even the snakes are experiencing the results of their ancient karmas. Sutta Uvacha. Ityukta satatya tatetyaha maharshirmanayam vacha sarpasatrad uparata pujayam asavakpatim. Sutta Goswami said, advised in this manner, Maharaj Janamejaya replied, so be it. Honoring the words of the great sage, he stopped the snake sacrifice and worshipped Brihaspati, the most eloquent of sages. Saisha Vishnur Mahamaya Padaya Lakshanayaya Mohyantyasya Mohyantyasya Bhuta Bhuteshu Gunavrittibhi. This is the Supreme Lord Vishnu's illusory energy, which is unstoppable and difficult to perceive. By this illusory energy, the souls, portions of the Lord, are bewildered concerning other living beings by the functions of the gunas, by the three modes of material nature. Sārārtha-darśinī. How can even learned persons be so bewildered? Because of the anger of Janamejaya, the Brahmanas, who are learned, they were engaged in a sacrifice to kill the snakes. The power of Maya is shown. Maya is invisible. By Maya, who cannot be stopped even by learned people? By Maya, who cannot be stopped even by learned people? Everyone is bewildered. Who is bewildered? The living entities who are Amshas of Vishnu. They are bewildered concerning living beings and objects by the functions of the modes of material nature, such as anger and hatred. The qualities of the material nature, such as anger and hatred. Nayatra dampitya bhaya virajita mayatmavadi sakridatmavadibi nayad vivado vividhastarashayo manascha sankalpa vikalpa vrittiyat nayatra srijyam srijato bhayo param sheyascha jivastribiranvitastvaham tare tarutsadita badha badhakam nishiddha chormin virame tatanmuni. Wherever the form of Vishnu resides, Maya, fearless with deceitful persons, does not exist. Where Vishnu, who gives shelter to Maya, exists, there can be no constant discussions among the Atmavadis or various quarrels. Where Vishnu exists, there can be no mind subjected. Where Vishnu exists, there can be no mind subjected to accepting and rejecting. Where Vishnu exists, there can be no created objects or creators, since he is beyond created and creator. Where Vishnu exists, there can be no results of pious actions and no jivas with ahankar affected by the three gunas. Therefore, where the form of Vishnu resides, there are no suffering jivas and no causes of suffering in the form of Maya. The devotee who has destroyed lust and anger in his heart experiences the highest bliss with that form of the Lord. Sārārtha-darśinī. If all jivas are subject to anger and hatred because of the illusions of Maya, who then is exempt? This is a famous verse. Vilajamanaya yasya statum iksha pate moya vimohita vikatante mamaham iti durdhiya. The ignorant jivas, bewildered by Maya, who is ashamed to stand in the sight of the Lord, boasts about I and mine. So Maya is ashamed to stand in front of the Lord, but she bewilders the ignorant jivas who are proud, and they boast that this is me and this is mine. According to the words of Brahma, Maya has no jurisdiction over Vishnu and the great devotees. Then what is the Swarup of Vishnu? 3 verses answer. Maya has no influence on the Swarup of Vishnu. What is Maya? She remains fearless toward the deceitful person. Because the Lord and the devotees have no deceit, she is fearful of them and does not remain there. When Atmavadis discuss about the Atma, Maya is present. Where Vishnu's form appears, there is no quarreling. Vishnu gives shelter to Maya. Yat shaktayo vadatam vadinam vai vivada samvada bhuvo bhavanti kurvanti chaisham muhuratma moham tasmai namo nanta gunaya bhumne. I offer respects to the great Lord of eternal qualities, whose material energy is the cause of agreement and disagreement among those who make philosophies and argue with others, whose material energy continually bewilders them as to the real nature of the Atma. Thus, in Vishnu, there is no mind which has functions of accepting and rejecting. Where Vishnu appears, there are no created objects with the cause of their creation. He is eternal. Since he is distinct from both the created objects and the creator. So where Vishnu appears, there are no created objects with the cause of their creation. Since he is distinct from both the created objects and the creator. Okay. In Vishnu, there are no pious results such as Swarga. There is no jiva with ahankar influenced by the 3 gunas or the 3 conditions of consciousness. Therefore, where Vishnu resides, there is no suffering jiva and no cause of suffering from the gunas. Who causes the Lord to appear? The devotee, devoid of lust and anger, is in his heart experiences exceptional bliss with the Lord. Param padam Vaishnavam Param padam Vaishnavanam amanantitar yaneti netityatarut sisrishkshava visrejadoratmyam anantaso hrida hridopaguhya vasitam samahitai. Giving up evil tendencies of I and mine, understanding what is not favorable for bhakti, eager to reject all things not related to Vishnu because of affection for the unalloyed devotees. The devotees fix themselves on the supreme form of Vishnu, who is embraced and understood by devotees, having deep concentration. Sārārtha-darśinī. The devotees concentrate by continual remembrance on the Swarup of Vishnu. They give up the evil tendency to think in terms of I and mine. They understand this is not favorable, and that is not favorable. They desire to give up everything unrelated to the Lord, such as body, house, sons, and wife, which are objects of possessiveness, because they have friendship with the fully dedicated devotees. This form is understood by the devotees having full concentration, and not by others. Ta itad adigachanti Vishnuryat paramam padam ahang mameti dorjanyam na yesham dehagehajam. Such devotees understand the supreme position of Vishnu because they are no longer polluted by the conceptions of I and my, which are based on body and home. This clarifies the meaning of the previous verse. Adigachanti refers to avasitam, And Dorjanyam refers to Dorapnyam. Okay. Ativadang statiksheta navamanyeta kanchana na chemam dehamashritya vairakur vitakena chit. One should tolerate all insults and never disrespect a person who shows disrespect. Taking shelter of one's devotional body, one should not create enmity with anyone. Sārārtha-darśinī. If a person commits offense, the form of Vishnu will disappear. The method of avoiding offenses is now taught. One should tolerate sharp words. One should not answer with equally harsh words. Taking shelter of a sadhak body, taking shelter of one's siddha body, which is remembered even at the stage of sadhan, one should not have enmity towards even a group of devotees in opposing a faction. One should not have enmity towards even a group of gopis in an opposing faction by remembering them. The followers of Raganuga Bhakti give this meaning. Kanchana means a person who disrespects. That was very interesting. That kind of came out of the left field. Oh, this looks like a nice verse. We can recite this together. Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Krishnaya Kuntamedhase Yat Padam Buruho Dhyanat Samhitam Adyagam Imam. Wow, this looks like a very important verse. This is how Sutta. Okay, let's read the translation. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord, the invincible Krishna, by remembrance of whose lotus feet I have understood this Purana from Shukadev. Sārārtha-darśinī. Concluding the scripture, Sutta offers respects to his deity. He says, I have understood from the mouth of Shukadev. Shishonaka uvacha. Okay, we come to a different topic now. Let me just quickly take a look at the comments. So wasn't Takshak... Wait, let's see. Wait, what? Takshak was in the shape of a Brahmin when he bit Pariksit? Everyone was sitting there and watching him and saw a Brahmin walk up to him and bite him? Yeah, I don't know. I always thought... that's... Let's see the picture. Let's see. Takshak bites Pariksit. Let's just see the images, Google Images. This is the famous picture. See, this is the picture that I'm so used to seeing. And so in this picture, it's in a snake bird, the form of a snake bird, not of a... it's really low resolution. Yeah, see there. See, he's in the form of a snake bird, not a Brahman. So I don't know, maybe we should check the BBT translation and see if that says something different. Wow, what a amazing... We have such good artists. Okay. Yeah, that must have been startling even for the most even for the most expected death ever. Yeah, to get bitten by a Brahmin. Anyways, I'll check back on that at the end to see what the BBT translation says, if it says the same thing. Hare Krishna Shah Sharmaji. Hari Bol Prajumna Prabhu Mantra Murti Mataji. The verse, that again shows our connection to Sripad Madhvacharya. I don't actually understand that. Hari Bol, and Kishore says, no, the fire came from the snake. Yeah, because didn't we read that that Ṭhākura took the form of a Brahman and then bit him in the form of a Brahman? Anyways, I'll check this after we finish. Where are we reading up to today? We're reading up to verse 46. Or maybe we should stop here. Okay, I'm just going to read a little bit more and then we can stop. Shishonaka uvacha Bailadibhir vyasa shishyar Vedacharyar mahatmabhi Dascha kadita vyasta etat somya bhidehina. Shanak Rishi said, O gentle Sutta, please narrate to us how Paila and the other greatly intelligent disciples of Śrīla Vyasadeva, who are known as the authorities of Vedic wisdom, spoke and edited the Vedas. Sārārtha-darśinī. Having heard about the Samhita, the sages wanted to know about the divisions of the Veda Samhitas. Sutta uvacha Samahitatmano Brahman Brahmana Parameshtina Hridyakashar Abunado Vrittirodhar Vibhavyate. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmana, first the nada appeared from the ether in the heart of Lord Brahma, whose mind was perfectly fixed in spiritual realization. One can perceive this subtle vibration when one blocks the ears. Sārārtha-darśinī. In order to correctly define the fruit of the tree of the Vedas, he briefly describes the branches of the Vedas. First, he describes how the Vedas appeared. Nada appeared from the ether in the heart of Brahma. This sound can be conjectured by a person if he blocks the ears. Interesting. Yarupasanaya Brahman Yogino Malamatmana Dravyakriya Karakakyam Dhutva Yantya Punarbhavan. By worship of this subtle form of the Vedas, O Brahmana, mystic sages cleanse their hearts of all contamination of object, activity, and doer, of all the contaminations of objects of this world, material activities, and the sense of being the doer. And thus they attain freedom from repeated birth and death. Sārārtha-darśinī. By worshipping this sound, the sages destroy the contamination known as objects, actions, and doers. That's Adibhuta, Adhyatma, and Adidaiva. Okay. Sometimes these translations are way too literal and it makes the meaning not so clear. So objects, Adibhuta, Adibhuta means what's coming from oneself. No. Adibhuta means what's coming from other entities. So, yeah, other living entities in this world. And then Adhyatma refers to one's own self. Disturbance coming from your own mind, from your own actions. And then Adidaiva refers to the disturbances from the demigods, like heat, rain, fire, like all these different things like that. Right? Anyways, that's how I understood. Tato bhutri trivridam omkaro. Tato bhutri vridamkaro. Yo vyaktya prabhava swarat. Yatta lingam bhagavato. Brahmana paramatmana. From nada arose the Omkar, which is composed of 3 sounds and whose origin is unclear. Om is directly the Supreme Lord and causes realization of Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman. Sārārtha-darśinī. From Nad appeared Om. Nad means sound, right? So from Nad appeared Om, composed of 3 letters, A, U, and M, whose birth is indistinct. Om is directly the Supreme Lord, is the Swarat, and is the cause of understanding. Om is the cause of understanding Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Tat is the neuter, since it is the object. Tat is in the neuter case, since it is the object of worship for devotees, jnanis and yogis, and because it modifies lingam. Okay. Okay, let's read these two verses and then stop. Shrunoti imam spotam spotam. Anyways, that's an interesting word. Sukta shrote chashunyadrik yena vag vyajate yasya vyaktir akasha atmana swadhamno brahmana shakshar vachaka paramatmana sasarva mantropanishad veda bhijam sanatanam. The Lord is the person who hears Om, which arises from unmanifest Nad, when the senses do not function, since his knowledge does not depend on the senses. By that Om, which manifests from the Jiva in the ether of the heart, the Vedas appear. Om indicates Brahman, which is Om indicates Brahman, which is its own shelter, and as well indicates Paramatma and Bhagavan. Om contains all mantras and Upanishads, and it is the eternal cause of the Vedas. Okay, I'll end with this commentary. Sārārtha-darśinī. Who is the Supreme Lord known by words like Bhagavan? He is the person who hears Om, spotam, generated from the unmanifest Nad. But does the Jiva not hear the sounds? No. The Lord is the person who hears the sounds when the ears are covered, when all the senses do not function. The Jiva is not the hearer, since his knowledge is dependent on his senses. Paramatma is the hearer. This means that whatever the Jiva realizes as hearing is dependent on Paramatma, because the Lord has knowledge without having material senses. When a sleeping person, on hearing a sound, wakes up, the Jiva is not the hearer, since his senses were not functioning during sleep. He who hears the sound and wakes up the Jiva is Paramatma. The nature of Om is described in a verse and a half. By Om, speech, represented by the Vedas, becomes manifested from the Atma in the ether of his heart. Om indicates Brahman, which is its own shelter, and is called Paramatma and Bhagavan. Shruti says, Om iti etar brahmano nedishtam nama. Om is the name nearest to Brahman. All mantras and Upanishads are uttered along with Om, which is the eternal cause of the Vedas. It has one form eternally, since it is Brahman. So this is answering the question. O eminent descendant of Bhrigu, Om has the 3 syllables by which the 3 Vedas are sustained. The 3 Vedas sustain the qualities, words, gender, and meaning of words. So we'll continue from verse 42 tomorrow. But this is really interesting topic. Oh, Hari Bo to say Shri. Oh, okay. I was wondering where you were, Indira Mataji. Oh, thanks for doing that, Kishore. Kishore checked, and he said that the BBT version says a Brahman came and bit him. The way I always understood it was that Taksha came disguised as a Brahman and then reassumed his snake form. But I could be very, very wrong. I mean, that's how we see it in this picture here, right? So, like that he's in this form as a snake. So, but maybe the picture, they got it wrong in the picture, and maybe he was in the form of a Brahman. That would be really shocking, wouldn't it? To all of a sudden see a Brahman come and like bite Pariksit. But yeah. All right. This topic here. Oh, Haribo, Kishori, Mohan Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Yeah, this topic now that we're coming to. This is we're working on this book for Acharyas Evam Gaudiya Darshan. And in the second half of the book, it's the Gaudiya Darshan section. And there's an article by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura called Spotavad. And it goes into detail on this topic, what we're reading about right now. And actually, Prem Prayojan Prabhu, he translated this part and published it as a separate book. And we're going to get that text and look over it and publish it under GBP as well. But yeah, he just gave a whole series of classes on this topic after when he finished that book. It's not his book, it's Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura, and he translated it. But yeah, this is a very important and deep topic, and soon our GBP will have it published in English. Yeah. All right, everybody. So that's all for today. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Oh wow, Shri Gadadhar Pandit and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, their day is coming up in just 4 days from now, 18th June. All right. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Ganda. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatarashata Shishimar Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatarashata Shishimar Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Rupa Anugagoriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanantari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Prem se Koho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Radha Ko Nishama Ko Nimuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Jai, Shri Pariksit Maharaj ki Jai, Shukadev Goswami ki Jai, Shri Sutta Goswami ki Jai, all the sages at Naimisharanya ki Jai, Shri Krishna Daipan Veda Vyasdev ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Shri Yogini Akadashi Titi ki Jai, Akadashi Titi Palankari Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyashcha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Oh, and Pradyumna Prabhu is mentioning, you have 2 Rath Yatras coming up, one on Friday and then again after 2 weeks. Neat. Hare Krishna Moharji. Dandavat pranam. Can I please read about Rath Yatra someday? Yes, of course. On Rath Yatra Day, we'll read about Rath Yatra. Actually, I think Padmanabha Maharaj will be reading from the Jagannath Rath Yatra book, so I might record that and post that. And Kishore is asking, interesting. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada's cook, Krishna Keshav Prabhu. Who is very close to Srila Bharati Maharaj. Srila Bharati Maharaj would always talk about Krishna Keshav Prabhu. so Krishna Kesha Prabhu ki jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirabhav Titi ki jai. Let's see, that's on Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani. Let me check this out. Maybe I can go live later on today to read about him. BC, oops, I have it in Bengali. Is it today or was it yesterday? I'm just seeing what date. Yeah, June 14th. Okay. Well, we'll read about him later on today. Maybe tonight I'll read about him. I'll read this. Thanks for letting me know, Kishore Prabhu. Oh, and another thing. Oh, Hari Bol, Manjari Didi. I thought you'd already left. Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so yeah, we'll read about Krishna Kesha Prabhu later on this evening. And you're asking, is there a book coming out with lots of Sanskrit songs that I'm working on? Well, I'm not making a separate book right now, although eventually I do want to do Gaudiya Stotra Ratnamala, which has all of Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura and Raghunath Das Goswami and Rupa Goswami's Ashtakams and many others. But I'll show you what I'm working on right now. This is, I'm going to be adding a bunch of Ashtakams to the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Right now I'm focusing on the Bengali songs, the new Bengali songs that we're adding in. But see, here's a list of the Bengali songs. Here, I'll make it bigger. Yeah, you can't see it very well, can you? Let me make it bigger. There. Now can you see it better? Okay, so there's the Bengali songs. There's the 2 songs for Nam, Emon Harinam Korosar and Krishnanam Thori Kotabol. Then there's the 3 remaining songs of Upadeshamrita. These are all Bengali songs. 4 remaining songs of Shikshashtakam. How many is it? 6 remaining songs of Namashtakam. And 3 remaining songs of Radhashtakam. 3 new songs to Gaur Hari. 4 songs from Prarthana about Narottam Das Thakur's yearning for residence in Vrindavan. And then some more songs for Radha and Krishna. And then the Sanskrit songs that we're adding is Radhikashtakam number 1, Radhikashtakam number 2, the Keshavacharya Ashtakam. There's another one written by, what's his name? Bhakti Deshikacharya Maharaj, is it? I forgot. No, it's Urdamanti Maharaj. And then there's the Gaur Kishore Ashtakam, Bhakti Vinod Ashtakam, Jagannath Ashtakam, Shrivas Ashtakam, Gadadhar Ashtakam, Advaita Ashtakam, Sachishunvashtakam, the Chaitanya Ashtakam, the Yugal Kishore Ashtakam, and the Chora Graganya Purush Ashtakam. Those I all want to add in this new edition. And maybe we'll add in Keshav Ashtakam and Vasatu Mano Mama Madana Gopale and also Smaratu Mano Mama Niravadi Radham. Maybe I'll add in those 2 songs as well. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. All right, everybody. Dandavat Pranams. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.